Hello everyone, today I will be discussing mean or average. This was my report for my statistics study. So let's start. So first let's define mean. Mean is computed by adding all the numbers together in the data and dividing with the number of all the elements contained in the data set. For example, we have a data set of the following 2, 5, 9, 3, 5, 4, and 7. Now, the number of elements in the data set is 7. Okay, so the mean is then the sum of all the data set. Okay, if we add 2, 5, 9, 3, 5 plus 4 and plus 7, and then we divide that by 7. So the answer here is 5. Now, what about when the mean is grouped, or what we call the mean of a grouped data? We have the formula right here. So the mean is the sum of fx over the number of data set. So let's see how to do that. Here we have the frequency table. Right, so x is the midpoint, f is the frequency, and n is the total of the frequency. So here we have the grades of students, for example. Okay, so the following, okay, are the grades. So grades that ranges from 40 to 49 are 3. You can see that on the frequency. And then 50 to 59 are 5, 60 to 69 are 6, 70 to 79 are 9, 80 to 89 are 8, and 90 to 100 are 7. Now, how do we calculate the average test scores in this exam? So first, we need to find the midpoint. Now, how do we find the midpoint? We're just going to add the lowest number, right, within this range, and then the highest number within the interval, and then after we add the two, so 40 plus 9, you can see it right here. We divide it by 2. Okay, so after we divide it by 2, we're going to get this amount, which is 44.5. So it's the same with all the other. Alright, so 50 plus 59 divided by 2 is 54.5. 60 plus 69 divided by 2 equals 64.5, and so on. So that's the first thing we need to do. Again, we need to calculate the midpoint value by finding the sum of the lower plus upper, then divide by 2. Now the next thing we're going to do is to find the sum of f, or the frequency. So we just add up all the numbers right here. 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 equals 38. Okay, so again, this is the next thing that we're going to do. Take the sum of the frequency column, and this tells us how many students are in the class. Now for the grades of students, okay, so we're going to continue with, okay, the product of the frequency and the midpoint. Okay, so this is the third step. We need to calculate the sum of the frequency times the midpoint value. All right, so again, this is what we're going to do. Okay, so as you can see right here, we have an example. We just add, or we just multiply 3, okay, with 44.5, and we're going to get 133.5. It's the same with the others. Just multiply 5 by 54.5 and you'll get 272.5. 6 times 64.5 equals to 387, and so on. Now, after you get all right, the product of frequency and midpoint, going to add all of them, and this will be now 2804.5. All right, so after you fill up all the things we need on the table, the next thing that we're going to do, all right, and the last part is to get the mean by dividing the sum of the frequency values and the sum of the frequency. All right, so as you can see right here, we have the sum of frequency multiplied by midpoint, which is 2804.5 right here, and we're going to divide that by the sum, all right, of the frequency. which is 38. Now, after we do that, we're going to get 73.8, and that is the mean of the grouped set of data. All right, so here's another example for the weight of the students, as you can see. All right, so again, the first thing we need to do is to get the midpoint, which is 120 plus 139. You add the lower and the upper interval together and then divide them by 2. You're going to get 129.5. And then fill in all the data needed for the midpoint. Right after that, you're going to add another mark here, sorry. Okay, and then we're going to multiply the frequency with the midpoint. So 6 times 129.5 is 777. 8 multiplied by 149.5 is 1,196, and so on. Right. So right after that, we're going to add all of the numbers right here. We're going to get 5,962, which we will divide by 36, and the mean will be 165.6. Okay, so, what is the significance of finding the mean? In research, we usually try to look for the mean, all right, to find out the average score of a set of scores, okay, in a given test, right, during a research. In academics, we also use it to see the average scores of the students, all right, and finally in recreation, if you have something that you're wondering about and you would like to find out the average score or the average result of something, you may use mean, right, to find it. Okay, so if you would like to look at my references to learn more about mean, you may refer to the following. So some of the examples I took from these videos and also these presentations. Again, this was my presentation for my statistics class. All right, thank you so much.